Ransomware is malicious software that locks and restricts access to infected computers. In simple terms, once a system is infected, the attacker makes the device or its files unusable so the legitimate user can no longer work normally. The malicious software then displays an extortion message and demands a ransom payment to gain the access. That means the victim is shown a threatening message, usually asking for money in exchange for restoring access to files, systems, or data. In many cases, even if the ransom is paid, there is no guarantee that the attacker will actually restore everything, which is why ransomware is considered one of the most dangerous forms of malware. Ransomware. Crypto. Crypto ransomware is the type that encrypts a victim's files, documents, databases, or other important data, and then makes them unreadable. The system may still run, but the real damage is that the user cannot open critical information unless a decryption key is obtained, which is why this type is extremely damaging for businesses and individuals. Locker ransomware does not focus mainly on encrypting files, but on locking the user out of the device or system itself. In this case, the attacker blocks access to the screen, operating system, or main functions of the computer, so the victim cannot use the machine normally until the lock is removed. Scareware. Scareware is designed to frighten the user by showing alarming warnings, fake infection messages, or fake security alerts. Its purpose is to create panic so that the user quickly pays money, downloads malicious software, or follows fraudulent instructions without properly verifying whether the threat is real. Doxware. Doxware is a more aggressive formware in which the attacker threatens to expose sensitive, personal, or confidential information if the ransom is not paid. So beyond locking data, it adds blackmail pressure by saying that private files, emails, business records, or personal details may be leaked publicly. Ransomware. Prevent you from accessing the operating system. This means some ransomware can lock the entire system, so the user is unable to even reach the normal desktop or login environment. In such cases, the attacker is not just targeting files, but making the whole machine unusable until the victim follows the demanded instructions. Prevents applications from running. Here, ransomware interferes with normal software execution and stops important applications from opening or functioning properly. As a result, business tools, office software, security programs, and daily use applications may all become unavailable, which increases disruption and pressure on the victim. Encrypt files, thereby making sure that you can't use them. This is one of the most common ransomware behaviors. The attacker encrypts documents, images, databases, and other valuable files so that they become unreadable without the decryption key, which means the data is still present but practically useless to the victim. They will demand you pay money. After locking systems or encrypting files, the attacker usually displays a ransom note demanding payment in exchange for recovery. The payment is often requested in cryptocurrency, and even then, there is no guarantee that the attacker will actually restore access. Make you complete surveys as. In some cases, ransomware or ransomware-like scams may pressure users to complete surveys, download certain programs, or perform actions that generate revenue for the attacker. So the goal is not always direct ransom payment, but sometimes monetizing the victim through forced interaction and fraud. Ransomware. Your personal files are encrypted. This is the classic warning message shown by ransomware after it has already completed the attack. At this stage, the attacker is announcing that the victim's files have been locked using encryption, and the message is designed to create panic and urgency. Encryption was produced using a unique public key, RSA 2048. Here the slide highlights that strong encryption is being used, in this case, public key cryptography. The idea is that each infected system may have its own unique encryption setup, which makes casual recovery extremely difficult without the attacker's matching private key. To decrypt files, you need to obtain the private key. This explains the attacker's leverage very clearly. They are telling the victim that file recovery depends on a private key controlled by them, so the victim is pushed into believing that only the attacker can restore access. The single copy of the private key. This kind of statement is meant to increase pressure and fear. By claiming there is only one copy of the private key, The attacker is trying to convince the victim that there is no backup option and no alternative route for recovery. Pay 100 USD/100 EUR. This is the ransom demand itself. The attacker assigns a payment amount and turns the cyber attack into digital extortion, where access to data becomes a hostage situation. Private key will be destroyed on 9/24/2013, 6:21 p.m. A deadline is added to force quick decisions. This countdown tactic is psychological warfare because victims are less likely to think rationally when they believe permanent data loss is only hours away. Time left 54:15. The countdown timer strengthens the urgency even more. It is not only a technical message, but also a pressure mechanism designed to make the victim act before consulting IT teams, law enforcement, or recovery specialists. Any attempt to remove or damage this software will lead to the immediate destruction of the private key by the server. This warning is there to discourage victims from fighting back. In simple terms, the attacker is saying, do not try to uninstall me, do not try to clean the system, and do not try to outsmart the malware. Because any such action may make recovery impossible. Here is a complete list of encrypted files, and you can personally verify this, This part is meant to make the threat feel real and credible. By showing affected files, the attacker proves that the damage is not theoretical, but already active and directly affecting the victim's important documents, photos, and videos.